committed on the rest of it right now.
So we can't. Good evening. I would like to call the regular meeting of the South Daytona City Council order Monday, September the 10th, 2018. It's close enough to 6 o'clock. Debbie, if I can get a roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Young.
Here.
Councilwoman Long. Here. Councilwoman O'Neill. Here. Councilman Schoner.
Here.
Mayor Hall.
Here.
Mr. Simpson.
Here.
Mr. Yarborough.
Present. Everybody would stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. And while we're at the invocation, if you will remember September the 11th, which is tomorrow, I'd appreciate that as well. Sir.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening and thank you for all the many blessings. We ask and pray that you give us patience for one another. We pray, dear Heavenly Father, you help us learn how to properly love our neighbors. We hope and pray, dear Heavenly Father, you give the elected officials at this dais this evening your blessings and the wisdom to make this a better kingdom of yours here on earth. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
I need a motion, please, to approve the budget workshop and the city council meeting for August the 14th. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are at the point in the agenda that's called Citizens to be Heard. And those of you that are regular attendees know that this is the time where if you have anything on your mind, city business-wise, state business-wise, county business-wise, this will be your opportunity. Hang on, Jen. This will be your opportunity to come up and talk. But before, I'm going to take a little time to tell you all about a proclamation that I was asked to sign. We have some folks here in the audience. The proclamation deals with childhood or pediatric cancer, and it's called Wear Gold Ribbon. And I know that Connie Fields is here with her family. She has a grandson who has cancer. And at the Kalen Courtier ride this Saturday, I'm going to read the entire proclamation. But Connie, if you'd like to come up, I'd like to present you and the group with this proclamation. We'll take a few pictures, and then we'll get back into the meeting. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put a plug in for the Kalen Courtier ride. As y'all know, Kalen was a 13-year-old daughter of Doug Courtier who died of brain cancer like about 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. And so this is kind of a special moment. Get Debbie out of the picture. But on behalf of the City Council and myself, trying to present you a proclamation. Okay. Get a little genie there to take pictures.
Well, stay quiet. Sorry, I'm getting
So if you'll bring that Saturday, we'll read it at your Galen ride.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Gotta get that awareness out there. Our kids are more precious than gold. Thank you.
Honey, y'all don't have to stay if you don't want to. I understand if y'all got another appointment. And if anybody like a gold ribbon, Connie has a bag full of them there. Jenna, you had your hand up. We'll go back to the agenda if you would like. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Janet Kistner, 1639 Gulfview Boulevard, South Daytona. I do understand about the cancer. I have a coworker, stage 4, so I do understand. On Northern Street, east of Gulfview, between Gulfview and Biscayne, just a little bit more further east of Biscayne. I have no idea when the last time that road got paved or taken care of. It's in bad shape, real bad shape. You can bust a tire on that road. And I don't see why we can't have it taken care of. And that'll be it.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Does anybody else in the audience that would like to come up and speak on anything that's on your mind? Yes, sir, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, guys. Council, Mayor. My name is Chris Bloom. I have an address at 918 Cary Drive and 911 Cary Drive, and I have a safety concern about the rocks in the right-of-way on Cary and Magnolia. I don't know if you've seen what's happening there, but it's getting worse. The rocks are getting closer to the road, and now we have objects going over top of the rocks, which is rebar.
I saw that. I was out there today.
You were out there today?
I was.
That's good. So something obviously needs to be addressed. I understand that people put rocks out there to protect sprinklers, but it's gotten to the point now that it's so close to the stop sign, you cannot make a right-hand turn without coming on to oncoming traffic, and you can't make a left-hand turn because of all the trees with the boat. So unfortunately, I have to make a right-hand turn, but I have to go so far out that I almost hit the sidewalk. So I replaced the tire the first time, but now that there's like a trap out there with the rebar, I just consider that as a major, I'm shaking because I'm so upset, but major safety concern, not just for me, but for a bicyclist, somebody walking, because it's now like a snare. And I think something needs to be addressed, but apparently somebody's already seen it with the city. You guys are always on it with code enforcement, so I'm sure something will be done about it.
Well,
Thanks.
I've got the audience, if I may. We sent out letters and there's 38 in the city that have illegal debris on the right-of-way. They're going to have to remove it. Not they're going to go to the magistrate. It's just gotten out of hand.
Yes, I agree. In a right-of-way, especially with a fire hydrant, you can't, if you have something that's considered,
You
an
can't
object.
put anything in the right-of-way. You can put a reflector if it breaks away.
Yeah, that's what the code reads. You can have a bendable reflector, but when you have a rock out there, and now it's caged in with rebar, it's
We're
definitely
aware of it.
a hazard.
One of your neighbors reached out to me, and I'm up by there today. In fact, I talked to him this afternoon and went out there and looked at it myself. I was
Awesome.
very surprised. And
Well-
Mr. Yarbrough and I chatted about it as well.
Well, I appreciate the quick
Everybody
response.
know what we're talking about. We did an inventory last week. There's 38 properties in the city. All of them have got to remove rocks out of the right-of-way or other debris. It's against the law. It's a liability to the public.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thanks, Council.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on anything that's on their mind? Rick, come on up. If you would name and address, please.
My name is Rick Tarrant. I live at 905 Wells Drive. The lady that just spoke about the road being paved, also on Cary, that road looks like it needs to be paved as well, but you have one of our neighbors that are actually going out near the stop sign and digging up the asphalt to make it worse so that it will get done sooner, so according to his way of doing things.
Thank you.
It's been witnessed. I don't know what else we can do about it, but it is right there at that stop sign where those rocks are involved as well. And I'm also upset with the rocks, as you all know, Bill.
Yes, sir.
So, but that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak on anything that's on your mind tonight? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council. City manager's report, please.
Just a few items, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I am scheduled, provided there's no hurricanes, to be out of town at your next meeting on September the 25th. Les can sit right here. He'll be totally in charge of it. Of course, could it be a hurricane? It could be a man-made tsunami. I will keep my ear to the ground, and if anything comes up, I'll cancel. I wanted to also remind you that your October meeting has been moved to October the 23rd. I know I repeat this a lot, but I do it for my own benefit. And thank you for your patience. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
City Attorney's report.
No comment, sir.
Old business, I'm seeing none. Before we started a new business, I know we 1820 and 1821, but I'd like to bring item K up to the front of the agenda if the council doesn't have any objections after we do A and B. Is that correct, Debbie?
After you do A, B, and C.
After we do A, B, and C. That's why I asked.
Well, I told you wrong.
Okay. So
C
Mr. Parker,
is not a timely matter.
Well, it's,
It can be, have to be, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Parker will bring you up after we do items A and B. Okay, sir? Very good. Scott, if you would, resolution 18-20, please, by title only.
Resolution number 18-20, however, I have to read it in its entirety just for legal reasons.
Okay.
This is first reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, adopting a tentative millage rate for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 and ending September 30th, 2019, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the City of South Daytona is required by Florida Statute Section 200.065, subsection 2, to adopt a tentative millage rate to be levied. And whereas the statute further requires that the city state the percent, if any, by which the tentative millage rate to be levied exceeds the rollback rate as computed by the Office of the Property Appraiser of Volusia County. And whereas the City Council of South Daytona does intend to adopt a tentative millage rate of 7.75 mils, which is 5.41% more than the current year rollback rate of 7.3520 mils. Whereas a public hearing to adopt the final millage rate has been set for September 25th, 2018 at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as may be heard at South Daytona City Hall, 1672 South Ridgewood Avenue, South Daytona, Florida. Whereas it is necessary for the city to approve and adopt its tentative millage rate for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 and ending September 30th, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of South Daytona, Florida as follows. Section 1, a tentative millage rate of 7.75 mils is hereby adopted for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 and ending September 30th, 2019. Section 2, a tentative millage rate of 7.75 mils is 5.41% more than the rollback rate of 7.3520 and represents a 6.09% increase in property taxes. And the rest is just formalities. Go forward, Your Mayor.
Okay. I need a motion, please.
move for approval. Second.
This is a public hearing. If anybody in the audience would like to speak for or against Resolution 18-20, now's your time to please come up and speak. Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring it back to the council for discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5. Scott, if you would, 18-21, please.
Resolution number 18-21 by title only for first reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, adopting a tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 and ending September 30th, 2019, and providing for an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is a public hearing. If anybody in the audience would like to speak for or against Resolution 18-21, now's your opportunity to come up and speak. Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring it back to the council for discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Parker, this is where we're going to bring you up, I believe, under item K. If you would please come up and make your presentation.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you for allowing me to appear before you this evening. In this, but I've spent the day with my 4-year-old granddaughter at the American Girl Dog Store. So please excuse me, and next time I come, I will be dressed appropriately. Tonight, I'd just like to express our appreciation as the ICMA, FCCMA senior advisors that you participate with you in the recruitment of a new city manager. In the spring, we began this process. You come in at that time, and since then, we've met individually with each of you, and you have provided extremely good information that we have used to develop the job description and the profile information that has been included in the advertisement. So I would be amiss not to say thank you for the time that you spent answering survey questions and meeting with me and providing the essential information that was needed to prepare that document. I would like to express our appreciation to your city staff. They have done an extraordinary job with a template, and they have developed an extremely good ad that will be placed on your website, and that for applicants to go to learn about the city, and then all the qualifications and what you're looking for the next city manager. All those instructions in that section about how to apply for the position. Third, to spend the time that was necessary to do a portion of the material, because it's done very, very well. If you would look at what professional recruiting firms do, you're at the right top of in terms of quality and appearance. And I'm very pleased and proud of your city staff for the excellent work that they did. For this council to do. And you've got things there. And this housed on the city website. Cities and county. No, it's the proof you have to expedite, which we've been able to accommodate your request. That have agreed to review all the resumes that the city of South Daytona receives. So there will be a team reviewing each of the resumes. And then at the appropriate date that's on the calendar, we will bring a recommendation back to you of 10 individuals, and we'll be at that process of then deciding exactly how many do you want to interview, and what would occur in all of those particular items. Those are on your calendar. I'm here now to answer your questions.
Do you know the names of the three?
Okay. Dick Kelton, Bill, and Kurt Brosner. Three really good individuals.
Great. I don't have any additional questions myself.
They were all answered when we talked, so I had the opportunity to read everything. Just so I'm clear, go ahead. I just want to make sure I'm clear on the three things you want us to do tonight. We want to approve the ad, and the second one was?
Approve the placement of the ad with ICMA, the Florida League of Cities, the Florida City County Management Association, and the Florida Association of Counties.
And then we're going to approve the calendar.
That's correct, because that is a revised calendar from what you've already adopted.
I'm sorry, Brad.
No, I was just saying, I agree the same thing. Materials are great, the marketing material, the ad, it looks very good. Like you said, some of the stuff that my office has done for our vice presidents and stuff at Riddle, it's right up there, so good stuff. And I think the calendar is doable. I've shared that. I think we've all tackled some of those issues as we've expedited it, but I think it's very doable, so appreciate your engagement with each of us.
Thank you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. It's my pleasure to be able to serve this city council.
If you take those as 3 separate items.
Now, Scott just said we can do one.
We'll do one resolution approving all 3.
If I can get a motion, please.
I'll make a motion for that resolution to do those 3 items, the approval of the ad, the placement of the ad, and the approval of the expedited calendar.
Second.
I have a motion and a second as requested. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, if I can be excused.
I just have one question. Is your wallet any lighter from spending time?
Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to know what this means.
Then you were a proper grandfather, right?
That's right. And apparently, it is expensive with a 4-year-old granddaughter.
Thank you, sir. All right, Scott, we'll bring it back to, I believe it's item C, Resolution 18-19.
Yes. Resolution number 2018-19 by title only for first and only reading. Resolution of South Daytona, Florida relating to the provision of code repairs and nuisance abatement services in the city, establishing the assessment to be levied against each specifically benefited property in the city for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2018, imposing code assessments against specifically identified properties located within the city, approving the assessment roll for such fiscal year, and directing delivery thereof to the tax collector, providing for severability and providing an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move to approve?
Second. Mr. Yarborough?
What you're doing here is your last step required under the statute and also by your property appraiser to put in place a mechanism where the city spends money to correct a code violation, and that money can be collected annually with property tax payments. So if it's called non-ad valorem, because it's not really a appraised value as much as it is our cost. I think we ended up at 2. Amazing what happens when word got out and we realized, people realized that, hey, look, I'm going to have to pay this. It's going to end up on a lien on my property through the county property appraiser. So a lot of folks stepped up.
This is a public hearing. If anybody in the audience would like to speak for or against Resolution 18-19, now is your opportunity to come forward. Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring it back to the council for discussion.
I'm glad to hear it's having a positive effect.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Scott, if you would, 18-23.
Resolution number 18-23 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida approving an interlocal agreement for the maintenance of traffic signals and other municipal services with Volusia County, and authorizing the mayor and city manager to execute said agreement, providing for repeal of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move to approve?
Second.
Mr. Yarborough.
This is done every year. We contract with the county. We have 7 traffic signals in the city. We have no traffic signal certified maintenance personnel nor the equipment. We budget about $6,000. We get $20,000 from the state for maintenance of them, so we come out pretty well, but we have the latitude. Ministerial.
Any other comments?
No, we need to do it.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Scott, if you would, 18-24, please.
Resolution number 18-24 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Council of the City of South Daytona, Florida, authorizing the adoption of the 2018 update to the City of South Daytona Annual Progress Report for the city's floodplain management plan, providing for conflicting resolutions, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move for approval. Second.
Mr. Yarborough.
This is another housekeeping item. In order for us to meet the requirements that FEMA has for rating us, that gives a better price on your flood insurance. My hat's off to the staff. Y'all did a great job. John and Patty, we got it lowered to a 7 or 6? 6 this year, which meant that as a property owner, you go out and get your flood insurance, guess what? Your premium's going to be less. So you did a great job, and it's part of that requirement in order to get our rating lowered is that, as you have done every year, approve the plan.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Now, if you would please, Resolution 18-25.
Resolution number 18-25 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, expressing the intent to apply to the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program and amend the 5-year capital improvement plan for the James Park Improvement Project, providing for repeal of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Yarborough.
Okay, this and another ordinance, this is a resolution, ordinance 18-13, which is a couple of items further down on your agenda, are interrelated. We were successful, staff was successful, particularly Greg, in convincing the Racing and Rec to commit funds for some enhancements at James Street. These funds, we want to take, leverage them for ECHO funding, and apply for FERDAP, the Florida Recreation Development Application or something, that had been suspended during the recession, has been now refunded by the state of Florida, which incidentally, those funds were very important to the development of our parks in years past. We want to be able, what you're doing in this resolution is you're saying a couple things. One is, go ahead and apply with ECHO, go ahead and apply with FERDAP. Leverage that funds. But one of the conditions in order to get the points that we want from the state under the FERDAP grant is a requirement that our comp plan reflect that project. To wit, that is what your ordinance is doing. It's adding these capital projects to your comprehensive plan element for capital improvement. And that will be taken up in just in a little bit. So it comes with our recommendation. We think that it's the right way to use those funds, leverage them, and let's get a lot more done than just the scoreboards. And this year, they won't be in place, but hopefully by next year they will be, and we'll be able to tell what inning, what the score is, and the time left, including lights and fencing.
Any further discussion?
This issue's been around a long time. I hope it all works out so we can get it fixed finally.
Those missing dots are deceiving sometimes. All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, sir, I'm sorry.
Just a quick question. So on the James Street, we're putting in, when we get to 13, we're projecting it out as $200,000 worth of improvements. I assume within that we have a pecking order of what we would get this $50,000.
Well, we don't get, we're back to drawing board back before you.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Scott, if you would, ordinance 18-12.
Ordinance number 18-12 by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of South Daytona, Florida, amending Section 8.5-61 imposition, adopting new fire impact fees, providing for severability, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing for an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Yarborough.
All right, there's a little history to this, so bear with me and I'll run through it as quickly as I can. All of the cities right now that have not reviewed their impact fees are in the process of doing so, and because of those over 10 years, they need to be revisited. This one's taken out of order because of a project that a developer's looking at doing down on Opportunity Court for an assistant living facility. Project's $1 million or so, not that many beds, but when they ask us for an estimate of impact fees, they were going to pull the project off the table because our impact fees for assistant living facilities was 3 to 1 what our neighbors were. And so this doesn't make sense to not rhyme or reason. When we adopted, the council adopted the impact fees years and years ago, we were using some calculations for assistant living that isn't applicable today. First of all, we only have one, a nursing facility on Reed Canal Road. At the time, we were dealing with it separate in the sense of the number of calls, the amount of personnel, and the amount of equipment that we were addressing the calls there for. When we started looking at how our neighbors had calculated impact fees, i.e. the other cities in Volusia County, we found that the reason theirs was so much lower is in part because they didn't blend the number of calls throughout the city. That's number one. Number two, John, tell me if I'm off. Number two, the amount of personnel we respond with is less. Number three, the kind of equipment we're using is not as ambitious as it was back when the impact fee was together. We're not running with a $700,000 fire truck anymore. We're running with little rescue and less personnel. So when all that was put into the formula, the rate became competitive. So now there's no guarantees that the ALF will be built. But we can tell you one thing, they told us it wasn't going to be built if we didn't look at a more equitable way to allocate impact fees for fire department and rescue, which is one of the many impact fees that's in place. Between now and the first of the year, we're going to be looking at all the impact fees internally. And we're going to be coming back with you with the balance of them, which is water, sewer, which will be also brought up in the utility study where we get it finished. We also have police. We also have, golly, what were the others? Traffic.
Parks.
Yeah, parks. But we're going to look at it to see what, some cities do it annually. They just take a look at it and then put a COLA in place. Others, many of them are like us, that's been about 15 years since we had a look at it. So this one we got to address separately, and I thank you for the hard work you and Scott put into coming up with a distribution or impact fee that's equitable. And I recommend you adopt it. Now, it takes, once you adopt it on second reading, we still have to send it, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Scott, I think it's 90-day notice to the developers before it goes into effect.
Yes.
60 days? Oh, it's 90. So that's part of the statutes that require the notice for those that's going to be charging the impact fee for the development. Any questions?
I have a motion and a second on ordinance 18-12. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Ordinance 18-13, Scott, if you would, please.
Ordinance number 18-13 by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City of South Daytona, Volusia County, Florida, adopting updates and modifications to the capital improvements element of the South Daytona Comprehensive Plan, providing for repeal of all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second. Mr. Yurko.
Okay, it's important you realize that you are not adopting a new element, you are amending a comprehensive element, okay? The comp plan is under review, more elements will be coming to you, but in order to accommodate the requirements of the grant under the resolution that we discussed a couple of items ago, we have to have the projects updated. And what we submitted to you was our capital improvement list that was done every year, many of which are way down the road. We had to assign some times to them, but these should not be unfamiliar to you. So what we're asking you to do is adopt this on first reading. And let's meet the requirements of the FODAP grant. Pick up a few more points.
My question is on the document. The improvements on the previous 5 years that are crossed through, those did not get done?
Some of them got done, some of them have been taken off.
Okay. So we'll look at this again in November, right?
Yeah, you're going to have a comprehensive element, a comp plan amendment on all the elements. Got to have it done by January. Hopefully we'll have it finished by November.
And this is not a particular order, right?
No, sir.
Have a motion and a second. Any additional comments?
They're all projects we've been talking about, so there's nothing new here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Mr. Yarborough, I'll let you handle I, if you don't mind.
Okay, at the last council meeting, this is consideration of a donation request from the Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 84, in the DME Sports Academy Foundation 37. These requests were in your agenda at the last meeting under just information. They were brought up by several of you and said, what are we going to do with these? And at the time, there were some questions that I wasn't prepared to answer. i.e., have we ever donated in the past for the veterans vehicle? I think we had, I wasn't sure. The second is there's some questions about the DME Sports Academy Foundation, and one of the biggest questions was, there were two really. One, have we ever received any benefit here for any of our families in the city? And then secondly, the question was, how much do they spend on administrative overhead? And both of those were great questions. Patty was helpful. She went to work. She and Debbie found where you had made a $500 donation. I think it was in 98 or 98 or 97. You remember?
2008 or 9.
2009. Okay, for the veterans vehicle? Okay. You made a $500 donation then, and then we were able to vet some of the questions you had. There was one family specifically that I understand the foundation helped in the city. There are others in the area identified in the transmittal memo. There is zero administrative overhead with the DME. Now, there are some representatives I see here that's not on the street. It's good you could be here. I know that Kevin Petrie is heading up this as a and that's an arduous task you've taken on, Kevin. But I'm sure they'll be able to address any of your questions over the academy. The mayor and I got an earful today. Frank Bruno was at the mayor's roundtable trying to pitch the need for the cities to step up and the county to step up to get these vans operating. So, as your manager, I don't have a problem with it. I made a personal donation myself. I think both of them are great causes. It's rare that anything's on your agenda for a donation. And I hope we properly vetted them for you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd look at, well, move to grant the donations.
Second.
The motion is to give a donation. Was there any amount?
I assume we're talking $500 each.
Or 500 for...
Okay, we got a motion and a second from Councilwoman Long. 500 a pop. Okay. What I got, Mr. Mayor?
Anybody else?
No, it's, I mean, I looked into both of them, and initially I thought this is not our place, but it does benefit us directly. We have a lot of veterans in this city. And,
Mr. Bruno said the cost of the vans are up to $40,000 apiece. They have 200,000 plus miles on the two that they have, and they transport at least 10 veterans a day to doctor's appointments, both locally and in Orlando.
How much have they collected?
They have had one donation from all the cities that were asked. That was a $1,000 donation from DeBerry. That's all they have. That's all they announced today.
well, it's so needed. I know a lot of veterans, and then a lot of them have to go to Gainesville. They can't drive.
Well, you're a veteran.
Yeah, but I'm still walking, still driving. So it's
Well, you never know when you're going to need it.
No, sir. No, you don't.
They also said they're looking for drivers.
So while you're still driving, he's going to get you in that van one way or the other route.
Well, you're going to have some time off here pretty soon. You can.
Wow. You got what you need there.
I guess. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 500 each. Scott, if you would, ordinance 18-14, please.
Ordinance number 18-14 by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City Council, City of South Daytona, Florida, amending Section 18-1E7, traffic control devices, to allow on-street parking under certain circumstances, providing for severability, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date.
I need a motion.
Move for approval. Second.
Mr. Yearwood.
All righty. As all of you know, there is no parking allowed on the roadways of this city. At the last council meeting, there was an interest of trying to accommodate these companies that maintain property or might be running in there to fix an air conditioner, or, you understand. And what we've traditionally done is certain roadways, there just simply is no way we could even accommodate a maintenance vehicle, okay? Some roadways are being, in a sense, unfairly discriminated against because they got a stripe down the road. We all know where those are. It's Kenilworth, Bryan, Oriole, some of them around town that are primarily residential areas. What this ordinance does, it lists the roadways that thou shalt never park on, which is Sauls, Reed, US 1, Golfview, and the ones that are definitely collector roadways in the city. And then it permits them on all the roadways up to 1 hour if the cones are used, except Kenilworth when school is in session. I think it is what you all wanted to try. I know I tried to get it out to you and get comments, so they got some good comments in, and I know the police chief and his staff has vetted this ordinance. We all, as staff, felt strongly that you've got to keep no parking on roadways. You don't want to touch that. can make exceptions for maintenance, which we have been, except on the roadways with stripes, and of course the roadways that are specifically, they can't accommodate any blockage due to traffic.
And this is only during daylight hours, right?
Yep. I forgot to mention that.
That's for 1 hour?
1 hour.
1 hour. There's a minimum foot space. You have to at least leave 8 feet. When you park there still has to be 8 feet to pass. And this is only for, commercial delivery vehicles. Personal use vehicles are still prohibited on-street parking citywide.
So the collector roads that we've listed here, it's prohibited.
The roads that are identified, in essence, no vehicle can ever park on those identified roads, personal or commercial or deliveries. Other than those identified roads, commercial and delivery vehicles can park there, subject to those additional conditions, but for personal use vehicles, they can never park on any road in the city.
And this says on public street right away, so they can't park in the grass strip or the pavement.
Public right-of-ways, yes.
Now, let me read for the folks in the audience, for the way, Mr. Mayor, roadways that you'll never be able to park on for even services, except for emergency vehicles, is US 1 Ridgewood, South Palmetto, Big Tree, Ridge Boulevard, Magnolia, Reed Canal, Pope, Florida Boulevard, Anastasia, Seagrave, Sauls, and Kenilworth, north of Ridge when school's in session, Elizabeth Place and Golfview Boulevard.
You don't mention utility vehicles?
Yeah,
utility
they are.
trucks?
What's excluded from all of this, and I've added this provision, on-street parking of government vehicles and vehicles of government contractors shall be allowed on any street right-of-way in the city while performing official duties and services.
They're government, but what about utility, public utilities?
Well, let me-
Considering that public utilities?
Contractors.
But there are times when they're servicing, the driveway's wide open, they ought to just pull in the van and get off the road. There's times when they're doing lines, they have to be out on the roadway.
Right.
We try to educate them that, hey, look, if you're in there fixing somebody's TV, would you do me a favor and pull in the driveway? It's an educational process, and the way they go through employees, it's a continuous education
Yeah,
process.
well, they're not allowed to pull in driveways.
They say they're not allowed to because of the weight of their vehicles or something, but that's just plumb silly. They pull in my driveway when they come. They pull in your driveway?
No.
I ask them to, they won't. So, how are they gonna have their properties maintained if they can't pull over in the right-of-way and they can't pull their rigs into the driveway
What are you talking about?
on these named roads?
They just have to pull off on the side street, like they do now.
That's what they've always been doing. We've never cited a Spectrum, AT&T, or FPL vehicle. We have encouraged them to get off the roadway as much as they can when they're blocking it.
I just want to, how will they be notified? Like, for instance, they're supposed to start using the cones, so I'm assuming that our police staff and that will warn them first, and then,
Well, sure, we're gonna say, all right, you gotta break. Where's your cone? It'll happen.
so they'll get the word. Okay.
It should avoid those street arguments. And this is only the first reading, right? Yes. Any other discussion?
Mayor, let me ask you, since you know this with your history stuff, was this attempting to get what you were...
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just looking for some kind of compromise that folks could do their lawn service and do their drop-off.
Right, good.
You know, I go back to the example of over on Pope. They were on, I got a call, there were 4 vehicles on Cary. Well, there was no place else in the 800 block of Cary. They were trimming a tree on Pope. Well, at least they pulled over onto Cary. They were there most of the day, but it exceeded the time limit, but you know what, they were off the road and they were cleaning the trees up, so.
Their biggest issues are lawn guys, probably spray and
Lawn guys
mowing.
and spraying guys, yep. And most of those people are there less than an hour anyway.
There's also requirements, they can't be too close, they have to keep a distance for vehicles to get around, and we find them, you know, not moving their vehicle, we'll remind them.
Well, and to your point, what Councilor Schoner was saying about, you know, this delivery stuff, I canal. I mean, I see, you don't want the lawn guy, but you see the FedEx guy pulled off to the side
Oh, yeah.
and running in. Again, not desirable, but that's probably 30 seconds in, and that's the part to know for. So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so we got rid of Kate already, so 10 is unscheduled council member comments. Vice Mayor, we can start with you.
Oh, I don't think I have anything tonight outside of, got legislative committees for the League of Cities coming up, so don't know who else is on the committee, but got some work to do there. I'm on finance and taxation, so if anybody has anything they want me to bring up, please let me know.
I just want to say that, to tell Les and the city staff that I've been getting a lot of compliments about Magnolia, the new paving on it, so it's good. You did a good job. That's it.
Ms. O'Neill?
No additional comments.
I'm sorry for the folks up in North Carolina and South Carolina, but it gives us a little breather.
Was it a year ago today that Irma paid us a visit?
Yes, sir. So at least we don't have, I don't think we're going to have a hurricane to worry about Saturday.
I hope not. Kevin's already left, but that's the same day as, his event is the same day as the Kalen ride. So I know he sent me an email inviting me, but I don't see where I could. It's also the same day as Greg's 5K, so we'll be spread kind of thin, but.
You running it?
I'm running it? No. No. I can't run from here to that door back there unless somebody's chasing me. Knees won't let me do that anymore, but I would like to invite everybody for the Kalen ride. You know, as long as you got a motor and wheels, we'd love to have you, and if you don't want to participate in the ride, we're going to have a $10 lunch at the Pickett Center from 11 to 2. We'll have burgers and dogs and chicken and pulled pork and door prizes galore. And it's a wonderful event for those of you that have never participated. Chief, I hope we can get your vehicle in it and you can lead the pack and do all that kind of cool stuff. But anyway, and I have to agree with Mr. Parker, that presentation does look very, very nice. It really is high class. So on that, I thank everybody and meeting's adjourned.